still hold it together. I'm just going to start off, and I'll say it again later. Thank you all very much for coming. This is a reunion that I had no idea was going to happen, but oh my God, my heart is so warm and it's just exploding on my chest. It's really something. But let's get to business because it is about kids and music. So as some of you who were here at the choir concert, just so that we give some seniors a chance to stretch out. And we have one group that's going to play before the jazz band plays. They're right out in the hallway. As soon as these guys are done, we're going to come down and try to keep things moving. Zoe Weimer knows more about this tune than I do, so she's going to introduce them.
All right, this is Gavin Cook, Michael Fagan, and Alexis Graff, or as they like to be called, two guys with flutes and a singer. Not Alexis. Performing Next Semester by 21 Pilots.
Certain things, what I was wearing, the yellow dashes in the street. I prayed those lights would take me home. Then I heard, hey kid, get out of the road. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I don't wanna be here, I don't wanna be here. Can't feel my legs. Pressure in my chest. I don't wanna be here, I don't wanna be here. What's about to happen? What's about to happen? I remember certain things. What I was wearing, the yellow dashes in the street. I prayed those lights would take me home. Then I heard, hey kid, get out of the road. It's a taste test of what I hate less. I don't wanna be here. Start fresh with the new year. Oh, 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 oh. Can't change Start fresh next semester.
Believe me, you want the guitar to be in tune. All right, let's play some music. A nice up-tempo, super happy swinger, Lenny Niehaus tune. This is going to feature our fine sax section called Ricochet. Sorry. And there's two tunes, two solos on this tune. One is by Nolan Cook. The second one is Nolan Cook on tenor sax. And the first one is Carlos Maitera, who I want to mention, especially on the piano. Carlos is not in the band, and I'll be talking about seniors later. I want to talk about Carlos right now. It's not easy to jump in and play jazz at the level that we've been playing it when you really have never played it before. And every week, as time goes on, you see Carlos getting better and better and more comfortable all the time. And he's a very valuable asset to the band. And I want to apologize to him right away because so many times he doesn't find out stuff from me because I'll announce it in the band. One of the other kids will get the information out to Carlos. So I didn't mean to ignore you, Carlos, I promise. All right, this is Ricochet. All right, so one of the things we do at the end of the year is give out some end of year awards, which always comes as a surprise to kids because I don't have any place to display them. Unfortunately, they're all on these very nice plaques, but right now they're like under my desk. But the blank showcase up here is going to be used for this purpose. That's going to be devoted to band and choir and theater. It used to be where the Hall of Fame stuff was, but they moved that from closer to the other gym. So we're going to get to fill all that stuff with all these cool plaques, all these great names that we're going to put some more names on them right now. So we do 2 awards for each band. 2 for concert band, 2 for jazz band. All of them happen to be standing behind me. So we're going to do them all right now. There's going to be a lot of stuff to say later that I will hopefully be able to say. But we'll start with this. So one of the things that we do is a most improved award in each group, and I'll start with that one. The most improved jazz award this year goes to Emily Tuchowski. Emily, could you please stand? So if we had told Emily some 3 years ago that she would be the lead alto and leading a section as good as this one, she would have never believed it. But her musical growth, and probably just as important, her personal growth has allowed her to be where she is in this position that she has spent for the entire year. She is the latest, thank you, Emily. She's the latest, I'm going to go on to something else. She's the latest in a long line of really solid lead altos that we've been having here. And the future of the sax section is bright. Matt on the end, and Emily and Kayla on the left are graduating, but Julian and Nolan are not slouches, so the future of the sax section is bright. But we've had, since at least 2016, we've just had strong alto sections with strong lead altos, just one after another. Jed Romanki, John Olson, Abby Leander, who I saw earlier today, Rachel Parsons, Ali Shambrello, Lily Feyerabend, Paige Levesque, and now Emily Tuchowski. It's a long line of great players, great leaders, and great intelligent kids that I get to work with all the time. So thank you very much, Emily. Thank you. The other jazz awards, sometimes these awards are hard to decide on. This one was really easy. It's called the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award, and it's given out in high schools all over the country that have jazz programs. And this year's award is an easy one. It's Michaela Ayers. Michaela is a student, and she's been in the band a long time. And as she's gotten older, one of the things I've noticed is she takes rehearsal with her after rehearsal goes. When we don't have a good rehearsal, she and I both walk out with kind of slumped shoulders, as we go out to the car. But when things go well, like that last tune, man, everything is right up. She learns her music. She takes pride in what we do. She takes pride in how we act, and she's an absolutely fantastic person. Michaela, thank you very much. As I said, we do a couple of concert band awards too, and they happen to be here, so I'm just going to do it right now. The most improved award for concert band is Nate Dunzik. Nate, please stand up. Quiet, unassuming, super intelligent, takes a lot of pride in his playing. And here's when I realized it was Michaela and I that both said the same thing at the same time. And this would happen in jazz band, but it happens in band too. Nate is so good a player that and we have a lot of bones, right? And we have a lot of bones in the band too. But when he's not there, it's pretty obvious that we're missing Nate Dunzik. His playing is that good, and he is this year's most improved player. The last one was also kind of a no-brainer, even though there's so many good seniors in the band this year. But that's called the Louis Armstrong, the John Philip Sousa Award for concert band. Again, a national award given out all over the place. Plaques to be displayed. And it's kind of the person, it differs a little bit from school to school. I've always thought of it as, who is our best representative? Who is like a good ambassador for the band? Who does the right thing? Who takes care of other people? Who does what needs to be done even when no one's looking? Zoe Weimer. If anyone deserved the title of assistant band director, it would be Zoe Weimer. And sometime I really need that. T, only 5 minutes left to rehearsal. forgot to remind the jazz band about movie rehearsal this week. It goes beyond that. She takes great pride in her playing as well. And actually, even though it's a jazz thing, she learned the bass over the summer just so that she could play in the band this year because we needed a bass player. That's how much time and effort she gives to our music program, instrumentally and chorally both. But that's how much pride and effort she puts into our music program. Zoe, thank you very much. To the music. We've done this tune called Secret Smiles a few times in the past. We did it, I can't remember if we got the performance, it was 4 years ago with Travis Levine on piano and Kaylee Hall on the vibes. And it's a tune that lends itself to featuring a solo that doesn't usually get featured. There's a lot of sax and trumpet solos and stuff where they play the whole tune. In this case, not so much. This is nice and adaptable. Zoe is originally a flute player before she taught herself how to play the bass, and we're going to let her take the lead in this nice, relaxed tune called Secret Smiles. Nice little bossa nova. Also, a solo feature by Michaela on tenor sax. We went to a jazz festival at the University of New Hampshire back in March. And it's similar to festivals we've done many times over the years where you play for an audience and some of the jazz faculty at whatever college we happen to be going to. UConn does one as well. We went there in February. And they take you in another room and they give you some constructive criticisms and we're better when we leave than we were when we got there. That's the whole idea. The New Hampshire Festival is not a competitive festival, not like the old Berkeley festivals. Oh wait, I forgot. I'll get back to that in a second. In the back row on the right is Mark Lewandowski. He's not in high school. He's, our third trumpet player couldn't make it tonight, and Mark stepped in on 2 days' notice. And also, I have to mention that it's his birthday. He could be doing a whole lot of other stuff tonight. He's here playing with us. That's awfully nice of you. And the reason I made that connection is because Mark was in the first band that won an award at Berkeley in 2009. We came in 4th place. Berkeley is a very competitive festival, probably the most competitive festival, certainly in the Northeast, if not the East Coast. Bands from all over the country go, and there are classes of 15 and 16 different bands from all over the place. And we actually took awards in 2009 and 2018, and we should have had one in 2019, but this one judge kind of jobbed us to be right. And that's really that's a feather in the cap of these kids. You know, in '97 when I got here, we didn't have a jazz band. We started one that year, and we've been off and running ever since. And to look in the rearview mirror and see, let's call it 2.5 Berkeley Awards, you know, is a real sense of pride for our program. It's really something. But back to New Hampshire. So they don't rank bands, but they do give awards at the end of the night for outstanding players and outstanding sections. We had, again, in New Hampshire, 15 bands in our class. And our sax section was awarded the most outstanding sax section. Please stand, sax. Michaela, left to right, left to right. Michaela, Julian, Emily, Nolan, and Matt Colago, left to right. All right, so one of the things I mentioned, I just want to thank this band. This band has been on kind of we did graduate some seniors last year, but it's mostly been kind of on a 2-year arc, I think. 2 years ago, we graduated a lot of players, the entire rhythm section in that great class of 2022. The whole rhythm section and a lot of the section leaders in the band. And we've done that in the past, and the bench has been very deep. And I told the kids when I decided that I was going to retire, and I talked about it in January, that like I'm kind of giving up 2 of my happy places, right? One is standing in front of a band and conducting, and one is spending Wednesday nights with jazz bands. I've been doing Wednesday night jazz for a long time. And it's if you were to come at a Wednesday night rehearsal, and this goes back years, and see how much fun we actually had, and then still end up sounding like this, you would wonder how we do it. We do it because I get great kids to work with. And this band, thank you all very much for all the Wednesday nights that we spent together. Thank you. And we're going to finish with a tune called Showtime, a tune that we did maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I think it was 19. Yeah, it was 2019. A great romp of high energy fun. Every section in the band gets a little bit of a feature, and so does Julian Stewart. He's going to take a alto sax solo, smack dab in the middle of the tune. Also want to mention the rhythm section. This tune has a few different feels, and if you don't have a rhythm section that can cut it, you got to do a different tune. But we're doing this tune because we can, thanks to the rhythm section. So this is it. Showtime. Oh, that's right. There's an extended drum solo. Gavin Cook is going to get a chance to stretch out a little bit. One, two, three. You're in. Ready? 1, 2, 3. be just a little short time. I'll bring the band on stage. Try to do it in 5 minutes or less. In case you need to use a facility or whatever, 5 minutes or less or so. All right, we'll be right back. part 2. Can you guys hear me in the band? Can you hear me? All right, you can't really hear me? It's kind of echoey. Can I have all the seniors come on to the front of the stage, please? Sure, bring your instruments. Makes for a nice picture. Yeah, make a nice line. This is unrehearsed. Everything else we're doing is rehearsed. So when you've been, good way to speak here. So, though the final decision, to retire was made this year, it runs around in your head a little while before it actually is going to be official. And one of the things that you consider is there a class coming that would really be good to go out with? And I know that sounds kind of selfish, but you do want to leave on a year where Jeff, that sounds like that. And hopefully we can duplicate that quality up on stage here. And this senior class is that class. The senior class is that class. They've been a bunch of rock solid band kids since they got here. And the year they came was 12-foot spacing in the gym. Was that your freshman year? Yeah, those nods. Right? 12-foot spacing in the gym. You do something like that, they have all sorts of reasons to, not play. Because who knows what's going to happen, right? COVID can be making decisions one after another. And they stuck it out. And we are so much better for it. The fact that this group of seniors who I chose to graduate with, if you will, they've made these last 4 years a whole lot better than they could have given what we came off of in 2020. And I owe them a huge debt of gratitude for making this band as productive as it's been and for having as much fun as we've had all year. Seniors, thank you all very much. So while they're getting their cells back together, I did take some notes. There's some stuff that I wanted to make sure to say. So there have been some junctures in my life, actually, that I wanted to give thanks for to certain people. And in this case, I'm going to start with we're going to say a few things, and then we're going to go into music, and then kind of repeat that a couple times. People to thank for me being able to do what I do. It's got to start with my parents. My parents we were a solid middle-class family back in the 70s. The one thing my parents never said no to was anything musical. Anything musical. When I was in elementary school, my elementary band director told me to tell my parents, you're pretty good at the trumpet. You should get private lessons and really start to excel. I went home, told my folks, next week we started. A few years later, my private trumpet teacher said, you're pretty good at this. You really need a better trumpet. You should get a professional level trumpet. Mom, Dad, what do you think? Off we go. Time to get a trumpet. And I had support all the way through my entire childhood. My mom passed 15 years ago next week. And my dad's an assistant living. He can't be here tonight. But a huge debt of gratitude to my folks because without them, I wouldn't be doing this. I'm a student of Plainville schools, and think about this, I'm lucky enough to have had the music teachers after whom the high school and the middle school auditoriums are named after. That's how lucky I was, right? My freshman year, I had Mel Perry as a band director, the man for whom this room is named. My freshman year, Mel really, I saw what energy looked like when it came time for Mel to be a band, when he was doing his thing in front of the band, especially at football games. He really loved them, way more than I do. Did I say that out loud? Yeah. I can't now, I guess. But I learned an awful lot from him, even in the 1 year that I got to have him. He passed tragically in the summer of '79, and the man who took his place was George Ventrelli, who I always preface with, the great George Ventrelli. Because of the way things worked out, he was the elementary teacher who told my parents I should get private lessons. I had George Ventrelli for 8 of my 9 years of playing trumpet in Plainville schools, and I couldn't have been any luckier than I was. A calm influence, especially at that time after Mel passed, the band could have come apart. The whole thing could have come apart. Imagine that. But he came in, steadied the boat. He knew Mel as well as anybody else, and they were very good friends. And his sense of loss was as profound as anybody else's. But he kept everything together, and we thrived all the way through my senior year until he retired. A patient man with high standards, and I learned an awful lot from him too. Just a lot of things I do now I model after George Ventrelli. He was influence number 2. My third one is John Mills, the late John Mills, who just passed earlier this school year, who I got to student teach with at Newington High. I only got that student teaching gig because of George Ventrelli. John Mills was very particular about who he would take in, and he refused more students than he took. But I had the George Ventrelli seal of approval, which meant in John's eyes I was okay. I learned a lot about being the kind of person a band director should be, because even though I learned a lot from George, I was now 4 years older and seeing things differently and be able to see things from a teaching perspective. And the stuff I learned from John, I learned more in 4 months with John Mills than I did in 4 years of college. That doesn't mean my 4 years in college were wasted. I had learned a lot of stuff, but that's how valuable those years were with John Mills. He was a titan in the business, an absolute titan in the business, and one of my most profound musical influences in my entire educational life. John Mills. Please, a round of applause for all 3 of them. Some music. Now, this might be either a sign that it's time to retire or COVID amnesia. I'm not sure which one. I choose the latter myself. So we were doing a piece earlier this year, right after the town-wide concert, that was just not going well, and it was my fault. But it wasn't going well. It wasn't coming along, and it was at least 90% my fault. So it was April break, and I'm thinking, all right, if we're going to shift gears, let's shift gears now and do another piece because we only have 5 weeks before the concert. We want it to be good. So I thought of this piece. So I copied it, just handed it out to the band, sitting right down there, and I started talking about it. So look, we're going to switch gears. We're going to do this piece called Haven Dance, and I'm talking about it, and I'm glowing about it, and I probably went on for a good 3 or 4 minutes. And Nate Dunzik, the brave Nate Dunzik, said, T, we did this 2 years ago. Now, I remember that 2022 band really well. Why I don't remember playing this tune, I don't understand. That band was again, full of tremendous leaders. But anyway, we can continue to converse about it. Like, half the band's never done it, and they really wanted to do it again. So, Haven Dance, it's a good, energetic, sometimes barbaric, but it has a lot of moods that go from here to there in just an instant, if we pull it off correctly. It's a great high energy piece with a thrilling ending. Hope you like it. I would like to mention a couple of groups, and I realize that no one comes to a concert hoping to hear the band director speak, but I won't have another chance. And I promise to be as brief as I can. But there's just some things I just absolutely have to say. There are two bands I really want to thank over these last 40 years. This first one will be a little tough to get through. Please bear with me. I got the ability to cry on the spot from my mom, so I don't regret it. But the Maloney Band of 1997, 98. Leaving a program is never easy. It's never easy at all. The Maloney program at the time, though the band director, who was a former student of mine, has taken it to places I would never have done. It was a lot like this one. Solid concert band, good, solid jazz band, playing good, real music, and the camaraderie that goes along with it. I don't want to compare it too much because the situations aren't comparable. I knew back here and got the word out in late January that I'd be finishing. When I was at Maloney, I told them at the end of August and I was leaving 4 weeks later. And that was really difficult. But what made it easier were that there's a lot of emotions involved in these things. But that class, they were sophomores? Wait, they graduated in 99. There were kids in that class who put my needs before theirs. They took care of me back then, knowing that it was tough for me to leave. It was hard for me to leave then. And they put my needs in front of theirs. And I'll forever be grateful for that. Ellen and Becky and Christina, who are actually here, which is tremendous. There was a whole bunch of people that did that for me. Derek Carpenter, there was so many of them. And it included a gesture that I have never forgotten. Those of you that know our band room or the Maloney band room know that Christmas time is a great time in the band room. It's second to none when it comes to joy, celebration, and gaudiness, actually. And we take great pride in that. If I remember correctly, my last day there was October 1st. And we had that tradition going on for a while. I was at Maloney for 13 years. And the night before I left, the band came in and decorated the band room for Christmas for my last day. Unbelievable. Absolutely, I'll never forget that gesture as long as the effort, the planning that had to go into that. I'm forever grateful to those of you that are here and the ones who are not. That really moved me. And I never got a chance to tell you because I was crying most of that day anyways. And the other band is kind of juxtaposed with that. The first band I had here, right? Left Malone on October 1st and I got here on October 2nd. Why we didn't plan that to be a Friday was a big mistake. And I finished like on a Wednesday, and I came here on Thursday. But living in the area, I kind of had an idea the troubles that the Plainville band was going through. Jeff Blanchett, my brother-in-law, was here, and he would tell me what exactly was going on. I really didn't know to what extent things had kind of decayed until I saw a videotape of the Memorial Day parade the year before I came. It was really something. It was really something. But I say that only because when I got here on that October in 97, there was a core of kids. Todd was one of them. There was a core of kids who, even in the midst of that, I'm going to be honest, kind of embarrassing situation, that they wanted to play so badly that they just kept playing. And those kids, I don't want to name them because I'm going to forget some. I know I'm going to. But those kids, that core group, juniors and seniors in that band, were it not for them, I can honestly say this, and I've said it to bands in the past, were it not for that group who had enough pride to stay with it, who loved playing so much that even in the face of every reason to go, they stayed. If it weren't for them, none of these last 27 years would be happening. It's a fact. I'll stand by it. Those guys saved the Plainville High Band program. All I did was steer. Those kids in that first band saved it from 97, 98. Those kids saved the band. They led the freshmen that came after them, and we've been on a roll ever since. Thanks to that group of juniors and seniors in that band, many of whom are here today. Thank you so much. So, on to to the music. We don't usually do this kind of music in the spring. The spring is usually pretty classical. And ordinarily in here in our program, we'd be doing something sort of quiet with great blend and balance and colors and stuff. But we learned this tune back, I guess, January, February. And then with a townwide and trying to get another concert in, we couldn't do it. And we really like to play it. So out of character as it may be for a spring concert, here's some music from Frozen. mentioned earlier that I student taught at Newington High, and with the great John Mills. And John had a blackboard just to the left of his desk. And right on the blackboard, from the very first day of school, or at least when I got there, it's like Pep Rally Friday, 1:30, and then a student's name that I had forgotten. And that note stayed up on that board for a good few weeks. Actually, ended up staying up for a long time after that. But after a few weeks, and I knew John well enough that I could start to be comfortable to ask him questions. John's a very soft-spoken man, but everything he said was gold. And I finally got up the guts to ask him, like, John, man, a few Fridays have gone by, and we haven't had any pep rallies. So when I asked him, he had his head looking down, doing some work on his desk, and he didn't lift it. And he said, that's from last year. I can't quite bring myself to take it down yet. That's when I knew how special this job could be. Right there at that moment. It's one of the great things I learned from John Mills. I've been fortunate to have so many musical memories. So many times that we've made magic on stage. And I've been able to do it with kids. But it's the connections that I'll take with me. Those musical memories will fade before the connections that I was able to make with kids. That kids like these and like so many, just let me in. They let me get to know them. They get to know me. Being a band director is one of the best jobs in the world, if not the best job in the world. You get to work with high-quality kids, usually for 4 years, the whole time that they're here in school. You get to watch them grow. You may even have something to do with their growing up. And that's what makes it so incredibly gratifying, the job. But it's those connections. This was a mistake I made yesterday. I shouldn't have done it. I confessed it to the band. I was just kind of sitting back watching them come in the room and do what bands have been doing for ages. And as they were coming in, I was seeing in my mind kids from years ago doing the exact same thing. God, it was so awesome. And this kid's in that corner getting a little mischievous, and these kids having a good time. Those guys talking about football, and it was all back up there. God, those moments will stay with me forever. It's the connections and that kind of stuff. I'm hideously biased, of course. I've said it for a long time, band kids are the best that there is. You just can't do any better. Might be some that are as good. I'm sure a sports coach will argue with me till we're both blue in the face. But when it comes to band kids and the band experience, my gosh, it's the best. It's just the absolute best. And I've had a lot of opportunity to do it, and to do it with so much enjoyment for 40 years. This really has been fantastic. But it's those connections. Yeah, the music's important, and it's what gets us there. But we connect with each other through the music. And that's, God, it's an irreplaceable thing that I'll take with me. And when I'm an 80-year-old man smiling on a porch, and I'm just smiling and no one knows why, that's what I'm thinking about. That's the stuff I'm going to remember. So, back to the music. I have one more thing to say later, but it will be brief, I promise, because I know we're kind of going a little longer than I expected. Randall Standards is by far the most played composer for school bands from elementary through high school. We actually did one of his pieces last year. When I heard this piece this year, which kind of sounds like an encore, we actually could have flipped Haven Dance in this one if we wanted to, but I chose to do this one last. It's shorter, it's quicker, it has a great ending, and it's kind of flashy and fun. It's called Gallup Festivo. We really like playing it, and I really hope you like hearing it. I'll give you 2 parts. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, make it sit. We have a little surprise before you leave. It's gonna topple over. So, for every performance. And then, actually, let's swap. You're gonna open this. And I'm gonna take these. Oops. Sorry.
So this says, I can imagine what's inside. Celebrating 40 years of Talata.
Can we actually raise the house lights for a second? I need the lights on. Thank you. Can any former students of Mr. Talata please stand so he can see? And following the concert, there's a surprise reception in the Learning Commons for anyone willing to join us. So please head down. It's that way. Just give the band a second to get down there. There's a line of people waiting to see it.
All right. So I guess that last moment just segues into what I wanted to say, which is, I probably shouldn't, but I'll still refer to all of you who stood as band kids. And you have been giving me senses of fulfillment and satisfaction for as long as I can remember, and always make me realize just how lucky I am to work with people of such character who gave up a Friday night to come and spend a final concert with me. It means more than I could put into words. Just seeing you all before the concert even started, and now I'm seeing more. Good grief. I might not get a chance to touch base with all of you, and for that I apologize right off the bat. But thank you for fulfilling my life. Thank you for enriching what it is that I've been doing for 40 years. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. Have a good night. Thank you very much for coming. Talk to you soon. So I'll see you at the parade.